Hey guys, in today's video I've got Alex from New Zealand who is here in the Philippines for the very first time and looking for the right girl and checking things out. Let's hear his story. All right, well, thanks Alex for agreeing to be interviewed. I appreciate it. So you're originally from Scotland.
That's right, yes.
But 20 years ago or so, you immigrated to New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
And
we had some friends who lived in Scotland, and he was married to a Kiwi girl, and they went back to New Zealand and encouraged us to come with them, so we did, and that's how we ended up in New Zealand.
In New Zealand, okay. And 20 years gone by, and you were 62, just about almost retired. You still kind of do some work, but
yeah, semi-retired, and
semi-retired.
3 years to go to retirement.
When did this is your first trip? You spent 5 weeks here.
Yeah.
When did the Philippines come on your radar? Like, how did that happen?
I would say probably during COVID, during that first lockdown in early 2020. And the boredom that kind of sets in sitting in the house.
Sure.
And so I started looking on some YouTube channels and came across, just by accident really, I think it was Rike, yourself, Dog, and then laterally the Filipino P.
Yes.
And so I just started watching them and started living this vicarious life with you guys in the Philippines, and I thought, I think that's worth checking out.
Okay, and I think we had discussed that you kind of smartly approached this. You're not sure if you will live here yet, but you wanted to come out and explore it first.
Yes, absolutely.
And we had discussed that you don't think it's a good idea to be selling your house and your car, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I really don't quite get that. As we discussed earlier, guys who come on various channels and talk about how they sold the car and everything, giving away what else they can't sell, sold the house, all their investments, and then they come out here with this big pot of gold. But it's a depreciating asset. It's not really an asset for them. It's just something which is just going to go down over a period of time and eventually run out.
True.
Whereas my opinion is that if you keep your house and rent it out, then you've got an appreciating asset at home, and it's a place you can always go back to if things turn sour in the Philippines.
Right.
And it's also generating a rental income for you when you're over here.
Absolutely. Now, New Zealand's a bit different. You were telling me that in order to collect your pension, you have to maintain residence or be physically present in New Zealand 6 months and 1 day.
That's right. I don't know what it's like in various other countries. It's definitely not like that in the US.
Right.
But you have to live in New Zealand for 6 months and 1 day to be able to continuously collect your pension.
Wow.
So it means if I want to live in the Philippines, I've got to go back and forward every 6 months.
Every 6 months, you'd have to spend 5 months and 29 days or so. Now, when you decided to come out here, did you join a dating site well before it, or did you wait kind of till you had a ticket in hand, or?
No, I started talking to people online about 2 years before coming out.
Okay.
Which was quite a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to maintain a conversation ongoing for 2+ years. Did you talk to any of those girls continuously for 2 years, or no?
I would say I spoke to someone for at least 18 months.
18 months?
Yeah.
Okay. And on this trip, did you meet that particular girl?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, excellent. Now, we also discussed that I always tell people, I say, don't, have some options. You never know, chatting online, you might meet a girl and she's not the same as she was online.
Yeah.
So I always tell people maybe have, meet a few girls just, and be upfront about it. And you kind of took that approach and met a few different girls?
Well, I spoke to a few girls online.
Okay.
But I have met one girl.
Met one girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was really great.
And she's a good girl. So do you have plans then on meeting her the second time around if you come back?
Yes, I'd certainly like to meet her again.
Okay.
And but of course, it's going to be in a year's time from now.
Have,
So,
have you heard the age doesn't matter from Filipinas quite often?
yeah, well, obviously watching your blogs and
Yeah.
vlogs, I've heard that many times.
Dating a girl in her 20s here, does that kind of ring true to you? I mean, I always thought age kind of does matter. That's kind of what you're conditioned for in the West.
Yeah.
But here I kind of have had kind of a new opinion on it. But what about you?
I think they feel like it shouldn't matter, and I suppose from my own opinion it shouldn't matter. But then of course there are differences in the maturity level, and that's where the potential problems could come from.
Absolutely. Did you have an ideal age range that you were kind of looking for? Or not really? Were you just kind of open to?
Yeah, I'm open to. Well, obviously, I don't think I would date anybody who was below 21.
Sure.
So that's just that's where I draw the line.
Right.
Personally, others may draw the line a bit lower than that. That's entirely up to them.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for a certain level of maturity.
Sure. Do you have? I know you've checked out several different areas. You checked out Bantayan Island.
Beautiful place.
That's North Cebu, and then Cebu City.
Yep.
Dumaguete, and General Santos in Davao.
That's right. Yeah.
So those, did I cover them all? 5?
Yep. It's them all.
Do you have a favorite place?
Excuse me. The most beautiful place that I found was in Bantayan. The beaches, just absolutely fantastic. And the attitude of the people as well, all so friendly.
Friendly.
And I spoke to a guy in a cafe who just happened to be the spouse of one of the councillors on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So we got chatting, and they were saying that there's absolutely no crime on the island,
Wow.
apart from maybe a little bit of drunkenness or that kind of thing, but zero crime.
A place like that, I've been there too, and it feels like a vacation destination. But what about living there? Do you think you could live there?
Yeah, that guy did ask me the question, would you come and live in Bantayan? And I said, well, that is a really good question, because although it seems great right now, after 2 months, 6 months, you're going to be left twiddling your fingers what you're actually going to do here.
Yeah.
And so, I really can't answer that question. As far as what I would do after a year of living in Bantayan,
Yeah.
I might be crazy about it.
Now, when do you think you'll come back on a second trip? Do you have any?
My quiet time in business is round about this time of year.
Okay.
So probably the same kind of time, but I'll probably spend maybe 2-3 months next time.
The next time, okay. Do you have some destinations in mind that you'd like to check out that you didn't get to this time?
I'd like to do Siquijor.
Siquijor,
I'd like to do
yep.
Bohol
Uh-huh.
and Palawan.
In Palawan, yeah. Are you more into like the beaches, or are you more into cooler weather in the mountains here, or what
I
would?
haven't had the chance to get up in the mountains, so I was hoping that while I was here I could get up into Valencia just to see what the temperature difference was.
Sure.
But because of the sort of rain that we've been having recently,
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to happen, so I'll just have to take people's word for that.
And you leave tomorrow to go back to Cebu,
Yeah.
and then how much longer are you here after that?
It's just Cebu overnight, then back to Manila.
And then Manila.
Overnight in Manila, and then back to New Zealand after that.
Okay. And are the rates still pretty high with the plane tickets, even from New Zealand, or did you get a pretty good rate?
I bought my ticket about a year ago,
Oh wow.
so I got a pretty good deal. That was before all the prices started to go up and all the fuel costs went up, so I'm pretty happy with the pricing.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was smart thinking.
No, I think there's more luck.
Yeah. Are you looking to settle down at some point here in the Philippines, if possible?
If things work out with the right girl, why not?
Would you ever consider taking her back to New Zealand, or you would prefer to stay here?
That's a difficult question because I know that the advice that yourself and many other vloggers who I watch their channels have given that advice that you shouldn't do that. So also there's the cases where you've seen some people who have taken them back and they've been married 20, 25 years and still going strong. So it's possible to take them back. But I suppose with the situation that I would be in when I'm retired, is that I'll be back and forward every 6 months anyway, so it really wouldn't give them an opportunity if they did come back on some occasions with me to really establish anything with anybody else.
So you wouldn't have a whole lot of choice like a lot of other people in different countries. They really kind of almost hold you hostage, don't they, a little bit?
I would say so, yeah.
And
it was a bit of a surprise to find that out.
Yeah. Now in New Zealand, you can start drawing pension at 65, you said?
65, yes.
65, okay. Good deal. Do you prefer just out of curiosity, I always tell people that it's better to find a Filipina who works, but does it matter to you, or?
It doesn't actually matter to me whether they're working or not. However, it does show an element to their character. And I'm definitely interested in examining people's characters.
Sure.
I'm not just going to pick the first pretty girl that I come across.
Right.
And so the one which I've been talking to online and that I met, obviously I've been checking out their character, asking certain questions, and then asking the same question a few months later, see if it's the same answer, that kind of thing. You know?
Right.
And yeah, so I'm alongside the beauty, which so many girls here are very beautiful.
Yes.
I'm also very interested in their character.
Were you kind of blown away a little bit by how many beautiful girls there really are here?
Yes, there sure are a lot of beautiful girls.
And yeah, because I know online you're just, did you get a lot of messages when you're online?
Yeah, I got literally thousands and thousands of messages, but unfortunately I would say the majority of them were from scammers.
Yeah.
All asking for money with some kind of excuse, whether
Sure.
someone's in hospital or the motorcycle broke down or the camera on their phone's broken. So,
Right.
You know.
But would you say it's pretty easy to weed those out, though? It seems, I never thought it was too difficult of a process. They usually aren't really elaborate scams. It's usually straight out asking you for money, right?
Yeah, they're really easy to spot, but then I guess you've got some who'll play a bit of a long game.
Right.
And so that's why I've spoken to some of them for over a year. And even after a year, finally caught some out. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex. I appreciate you letting me interview you, and I wish you the best of luck, Alex. Thank you.
Thanks very much.